Emperor Nero fiddles while Rome burns. That's how history remembers him. But what if there's more to the story? Hi, everyone. Welcome to this channel. Today, we are discussing Nero. You know, if the expression Emperor Nero fiddles while Rome burns didn't already give it away, he was definitely our first historically documented narcissist. It also doesn't help that every single source that wrote about him, from his contemporaries to the ones writing just a few centuries later, absolutely hated him. So who was Nero, and how did he go from being a beloved boy emperor to the most hated ruler in history? Well, to answer that question, we're going to have to look at what life was like in the Roman Empire, right around the time of Jesus Christ, when a small, insignificant village called Nazareth was chosen to host the birth of a man who will change the world forever. Just kidding. It was actually chosen to host the birth of a man named Jesus. I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to Nero. Nero came to power in the year 54 at the age of 17. His mother, Agrippina the Younger, had ensured that he would become emperor by having his adoptive father, the Emperor Claudius, poisoned. Now, before you judge her too harshly, Agrippina was basically a feminist icon, a woman who took what she wanted and wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty. In fact, even though she had just secured the throne for her son, she wanted to be empress. She ruled as regent during Nero's reign, pulling strings from behind the curtain until she met her demise in a pleasure boat off the coast of Anzio. Legend has it that Nero ordered the boat to be blown up with a hidden charge in the cushions of the main dining room. Talk about a spicy way to go. But now that Agrippina was gone, Nero was on his own. And let's just say his rule was a little different from what people were used to. You see, Nero fancied himself an artist, a poet, a musician, and an actor. He wasn't content to be merely the most powerful man in the world. He wanted to be the most celebrated performer as well. Unfortunately, he wasn't very good. In fact, he was absolutely terrible. But that didn't matter because Nero was the emperor. And if you didn't like his performance, you could get killed. He would perform on stage, singing and playing the lyre, while Roman citizens were required to sit through his performances for hours. No one was allowed to leave during his concerts. Pregnant women reportedly gave birth in the theater rather than risk his wrath by departing. Professional clapping groups were hired to ensure enthusiastic applause, and anyone who failed to show proper appreciation risked execution. I mean, can you imagine? You're sitting in the audience at the Roman Colosseum watching the emperor perform, and you politely clap at the end of his song. And then he looks at you and says, "You there, you clearly didn't enjoy my performance, so I sentence you to death." And then the lion shows up and eats you. Yeah, it happened. But it wasn't just the artsy-fartsy stuff that set Nero apart from other emperors. He was also into debauchery, orgies, chariot racing, gladiator games, throwing gold coins from a tower, just to watch the common folk fight over the riches. He hosted feasts inviting 8 men of only one type, bald, short, or fat. Once he unleashed poisonous snakes into the audience at the gladiator games and watched with amusement as the crowds panicked and fell victim to poisonous bites. Oh, and let's not forget, he built a massive golden palace for himself at a time when Rome was suffering from severe food shortages and the city's infrastructure was crumbling. To make matters worse, according to legend, while Rome was indeed burning, he calmly played the lyre and sang. Was he really so detached from reality that he didn't care that his empire was burning to the ground? Or was he just totally unfazed by the loss of material possessions? Or maybe, just maybe, he started the fire in order to build back better. Well, I'm going to stop short of saying he was a visionary leader because, well, he wasn't. But who knows? Maybe he just wanted to get rid of all those pesky plebs and start fresh with a new and improved Rome. Sadly, that's a story for another day. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more historical tales.